Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Show to Be with Mike G, the show of life, the show of the UK, the south of France, the Austin cocktail scene getting a run for its money, and so much more. It is my pleasure to bring you today with Nick the Greek and Terrence the story of Here Nor There. We are approaching just about a year, and the bar Here Nor There has really impacted the Austin cocktail scene. It was met with a lot of resistance. It was met with a little bit of, will this even work in this city? And they have proven to us here in Austin that, in fact, there was an opening, there was an opportunity for such a lovely place with amazing gents and amazing cocktails as Here Nor There. So, without further ado, this is the story of Here Nor There.
I don't know, me and Nick used to run tiki bars, and I have this whole idea of like escapism and things like that. So I feel like when you walk into Here Nor There, and like, cause we're so close to 6th Street as well, it's like you're walking away from the madness and going down into this like little cellar, I suppose, of just a good time, you know, and you're greeted by a warm welcome, a free glass of like our welcome drink.
Something delicious. Yeah.
Something delicious. And
immediately.
Have a drink.
Yeah.
Sit down.
Well, see, this is how I would feel. You guys came in. First thing I do besides inviting you to your house.
Appreciate it.
Pouring you some rum. I mean, that's just kind of how this thing should work, right?
Very hospitable. Your welcome drink tastes better than ours.
Jealous. It all depends what kind of evening you've had, I think.
I suppose.
So, Nick, what do you think? The same kind of thing? It's
yeah. I don't know, hit it on the head. For me, with escapism's quality, I'm like... I love the drink side of it, but Tel's like the drinks focus.
Yeah.
I'm sort of more like, I love the hospitality, behind hospitality, and I love the service. And we sort of come from common means, and we've always been invited. I've had I've had hundreds of different bar experiences, restaurant experiences. Some you're welcomed and some you're not. And I always thought I was wrong. I always thought people should be always welcome, no matter how expensive your glassware is. And that's sort of what we try to hit on the head of that sort of.
So there's a bit of humility involved too, yeah?
Yeah, mate, I mean...
Because, you know, all right, the reason I say that is there are plenty of places all across the world. Now, it gets different, I suppose, as your knowledge of cocktails grows, but you never feel judged no matter what you order Here Nor There. You know what I mean? Like, you guys aren't there just to kind of...
quality.
Yeah, push trends and shit. You are there for the people.
That's absolutely true.
Kind of is, yeah. There's like...
we have a couple of like trends we don't follow it, but like there's a couple of things we lean towards when making like our own house drinks.
Yeah.
But like if you want a fucking Johnny Walker Blue and Coke, I'll serve it to you with a smile. Right. I don't care. Yeah. Like you can have whatever you want.
Absolutely.
You have a cup of tea.
We're all different. Yeah. You want a cup of tea? Quality.
Yeah, that's a brilliant point too.
You want to drink a gin and tonic? No worries. You want to drink a beer? Fine, we sell Guinness. Quality. You know what I mean?
What do you think about folks that are really, really ardently against Johnny Walker Blue and Coke? And like, no, man, that's not how it's supposed to be tasted.
You know,
I mean, that's all right. Listen,
there's a place in the world for those people.
Like, everyone's allowed, and you know... Everyone drinks what they drink, and they drink how they want to drink. You know what I mean?
I love it.
It's all right.
I love it. I actually love it when someone asks me, like, "Oh, how should I drink this?" I'm like, "However you want to drink it. It's you're paying for it. It's your taste. It's your mouth. It's that liquid is going down your throat. So, like, do whatever you want with it. Put it on the floor and walk away. I don't mind. But just enjoy whatever you do with it. Just enjoy it. You know.
Yeah. I used to live in Melbourne.
1806, yeah?
Yeah, 1806, and I did a whiskey tasting at Eau de Vie, and forgive me, but I forget the gentleman's name, but he was the head distiller of something, but I was pretty drunk before I got there, and I said to him, and I fortunately enough got to sit next to him, he did a little speech, talked about whatever, did a traditional toast, and was like, I was like, how am I supposed to just have a little bit of water in it? How am I supposed to drink this? Because I was pretty new to it then. And he's just like, with Scotch, you just drink it. With a thick Scottish accent, it's just like, laddie, you just drink it how you want to drink it. And I was like, all right, quality. And I sort of like, silly things throughout my life, sort of. Those are the things that I've held on to, do you know what I mean? And that's what I say to anyone drinking anything. They drink it how they want to drink it, and there's no judgment. You know.
See, I like that. I think this is something, I think it's a UK thing. I think in the States we're a little fussy about stuff sometimes. I think you see that. Sometimes you go to LA, go to New York, it's a different thing altogether. But this is the thing that's kind of interesting. So I know you guys kind of met, maybe not for the first time at Trailer Happiness in London, but the story of hospitality goes far, far back beyond that. So Nick, starting with you, you're from Cambridge originally.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you, and you fancy yourself a bit of an actor? I've seen you doing some improv and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I don't know where you heard that, but
I researched it all, man.
Yeah. Actually, before we started this venture, I was actually going to apply into drama school.
Yeah,
in London. Got pretty far through the process, but this is something that I wanted to achieve and come to the States and work with my brother Terence. We've been working together a long time, and good
was
opportunities.
It like, so for some folks when they kind of enter the industry, because you've worked in France as well, and of course Melbourne too, right? Yeah. So was it a conscious decision to say I'm going to step away from acting?
Not really. And to be honest with you, I was only very much at the early stage of that anyway.
Yeah.
But I feel like the reason that I got into hospitality is that two reasons. One, it was very hard work.
Yeah.
And two, it allowed me to entertain people, and that's what I'm about. I think that's what we're about. Terence does that through making his drinks. I do that through making drinks if Tel's tired and doesn't want to be on the bar.
Yeah.
But on the floor as well, and sort of engaging people and giving them that element of escapism that we talk about in Tiki. And when I first heard that word escapism and sort of associated trade happiness, associated to Tiki and like the history of it, was like, that's what it is. Because people have bad days, you know what I mean? People have good days, bad days, great days, whatever you want, you know what I mean? And they just want to be away from it. They could have the best day of life and it still be intense because of family or whatever it is. And
need something slower.
Yeah. Just want to sit at the bar and talk to an Irish geezer and or an English Greek and fucking.
Were you born and raised in Cambridge? Were the folks in the industry at all?
No, not my dad's in the entertainment business to some extent.
What music or
nothing like that.
Nothing like that.
He's a salesman.
He's a storyteller.
Oh, cool.
He's a storyteller. Yeah. I've been pretty much in and out of my family. My mother's originally from East Ham, so East London. So I've been in and out of London all my life. But I used to work on the markets when I was very young with my dad, and that sort of really got me a taste for the work ethic and the engagement, like him selling stories and telling people and just selling stuff.
Yeah, it
was engaging as hell. You know what I mean? And I like a lot of what I do now is based on just that. You know.
Did you feel like kind of any obligation to go into sales too? I mean, I guess
not really. Like when I was really young, I wanted to be a lawyer.
Shit.
Yeah, when I was 11, I don't know why.
It's the money and the rich. I mean, obviously,
yeah, maybe money and the power and stuff, whatever. But I don't know. My life sort of just led. I moved to the south of France really spontaneously. I didn't know anyone.
Was that the first gig?
Yeah. I didn't really go. I went to school, but then sort of like after 16, and when I got a car, I didn't really give a shit. So I just worked, and then I sort of went into retail management, and then I was like, "Fuck, I'm out of this."
Too suit and tie-ish. Need like
my general manager was like, he told me, Rodney was like, you need to. He played a major role in my life, and he was just like, if you're still with the company in 6 months, I'm going to move you out my store. You're not going to work for me, and I'm going to send you somewhere real bad.
No shit.
And it was like very much like a
what industry was it then?
I was a manager at Marks and Spencer's when I was really young.
So tell me,
in retail.
Retail,
so
like
retail.
Electronics.
No, they sold clothing, but I was like food retail.
Marks and Spencer's do really nice food as well.
Yeah, delish.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like a very traditional British brand.
It's like it's
the wealthy brand.
It's like Whole Foods, but like not as expensive and not as bougie. Yeah,
but at the same time,
it's a bit like Trader Joe's.
Oh
no, I wouldn't say that. So it's a little bit,
but they've got like clothes and things like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, maybe it's kind of like a nice place to go and get your fruit and veg.
Yeah,
your grandmother used to get your.
I had a good time at Trader Joe's when I go.
I have a great. I love Trader Joe's. I love supermarkets. Oddly enough,
I do. Anyway, I don't know why I love like Target for some reason. I love
just walking around shit. You know what I mean? Out here, you have big stores as well.
Yeah,
they're a bit like you can spend a day in a couple of these. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
When I go to Whole Foods over here, and like I don't go too much because I always spend too much money.
Yeah.
I spend like an hour and 10 minutes. I'm just like looking at shit.
Different products.
Yeah, it's completely interesting. But did you kind of being in the food part of it, even if it isn't retail?
Yeah.
Did you kind of appreciate ingredients and flavors and things? Or
I think that came later in my life. I think when I got down to the south of France. So Rodney was like, "Listen, if you don't need to be here. You're doing well, but you don't need to be here." And I was like, "Yeah, all right, quality." All my friends were at university, so I was like, "So I'm moving to Paris originally." So I had a contact there for a job, but I told him I could speak French, and then I went into the interview and I couldn't speak any French, and I was like, "Fuck, all right." But I was adamant I was leaving, I said I moved to the south of France. I moved to Lille originally. Okay. And when I was booking my flight, it was 72 quid. I don't know why. It was so stupid, but on the advertisement on EasyJet, there was a flight to Nice for £29. And I thought, fuck it, I don't know anyone there either. So I moved to the south of France. And I was closer to the sea and the Mediterranean. And I was like, fine, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And my old man said to me, Renik, if you have trouble, my old man's like Greek as fuck.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you're in trouble, then you must find the Greeks. And I found one Greek and he actually saved me. Saved me down there, yeah.
Having like a community.
I moved to Melbourne following him. He's like an older brother to me. He's one of the best people.
France then?
I was in France for 1 year, and then after that, Melbourne for 1 year. And that's sort of when I got a taste for it, sort of freed up. Like, I was eating a lot of different things down in South France and drinking a lot of different things. It wasn't high quality stuff, but it was different, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And then I got to Melbourne and I worked in my mate's Greek restaurant, Salona, bigger, delish food.
Yeah.
And then I managed to talk myself into a floor shift at 1806.
Okay.
With Andy Wren, who was the old GM there, now works for Bacardi and Grey Goose. He's a legend. And I was just like a weekend warrior. I was like, let me do a trial shift. And I couldn't make drinks really at all. Like, really, really couldn't. Even when I went to trailer, Terence didn't think I could make drinks. And that was like,
couldn't.
After a year of making drinks, like, at an all right place.
But it's the personality comes into play, doesn't it?
Right. Like mate, I was just like, listen, I'm going to push your floor. Don't worry. Nick the Greek, I'm going to hit it. Do you know what I mean? And I couldn't even carry a tray at that point. But I was just like, I'm going to engage every single person that walks through the door. And they were like, on Monday, they hit me saying, you're going to be our weekend warrior. So then I held down a couple of jobs because they didn't pay much. And then I got in a competition with, oddly enough, it was stupid competition with Jamie Oliver. Nothing stupid, but
it's like your first, this is like the first Star Tender thing, right? For you, where you get
recognized. Yeah. It was like a video competition. It was ridiculous. Terence slags me off about it regularly. I was young, man.
They're hilarious.
I didn't know any better. Terence was like, being cool, bartending in London and being good at shit, you know what I mean? And I was just here giving people shit, just chatting nonsense. And then I was just learning shit. Like, we had a menu at 1806, it was 72 classics.
Yeah.
And my trick, I just swallowed that menu. I knew everything about it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when I got to trade, I was just like, oh, Terence, you heard of this cocktail? Oh, you heard of this cocktail? And he was like the hot shot bartender.
Testing you at this point?
Yeah.
I don't know knowledge then. Yeah. But that was the way in. And then the community, community's a big part in anything, and the community in Melbourne was quality. They really got behind me with the whole Jamie Oliver thing, because I was representing Australia, oddly enough, which was weird.
Yeah.
And
they knew you're British, right?
They knew, yeah, absolutely. It's a weird thing. Yeah,
Australians,
yeah, they love it. Yeah, they'll support anyone that's good. You know what I mean?
People.
Yeah. So they did, and they taught me a lot of different things, and then I sort of followed that. There was I remember there being some weird ties to trailer with Jamie Oliver's drinks tube.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'd previously done it before.
So the guy before us was a guy called Richard Hunt. In Trailer Happiness. He's very, very good at what he does.
Yeah.
But
lovely guy as well.
Yeah, real nice dude. He does a lot of stuff for Jamie Oliver and Drinks Tube, and they actually filmed in Trailer once.
No way.
So there was a lot of like ties and shit like that.
Dude, so there's a lot of crossover. Okay, so Nick, what year is it that you end up being in Trailer Happiness? Because you're a year in Melbourne. And then
what year is it now? 2019. I was 2014. I moved back
to London.
To London, 2014.
Okay. So 2014.
At the end of 2014, I went into the busy period. I came back in November. That was when I started a trailer.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're up to 2014, where this kind of serendipitous, or the end of 14.
Yeah, that's where I bumped into.
Where you guys kind of meet. So, okay, Terrence, you have I think it's a similar background in terms of hospitality, but you grew up in Dublin, yeah? Or born in Dublin?
No, so actually it's a bit odd. So I was born in Newcastle, which is northeast.
Yeah.
But my mum's Irish, my dad's a Geordie. So Geordie means you're from Newcastle. So you've got a very silly accent.
Yeah.
But I was actually born into hospitality. So my mum owned a hotel, my dad owned a pub. And yeah, like I grew up like in my mum's hotel, and like, yeah, pretty much. And
what life?
It wasn't really, mate. But
do you have any brothers and sisters?
I do. I've got an older brother and an older sister. So my brother was a fucking pretty good chef.
Yeah.
So he chefed in the hotel. And then my sister always worked in the restaurant, like always.
Just helping out, doing whatever. Right?
Yeah, so my mum, like growing up, was a pastry chef, and like she tried her hand at being a sommelier as well. And then my sister is like a full-blown sommelier. Okay. And then my she's pretty good. She knows her shit.
Yeah.
And then my brother's a pretty excellent chef too. So
certainly, to your point,
I've been surrounded by
on the floor of a kitchen, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Living in a hotel, it sounds glamorous, but it's not. No. Nah.
It's just what kind of.
It's like
hard work. You don't get to relax, or.
Nah, be like, what am I doing on my Tuesday morning? I'm counting the bandits from my dad. Bandits is like a fruit machine. So like you put money in it, and like you'll lose it all. It's like a slot machine, really.
Okay.
So like I used to do that, and my socks would be really heavy walking out in the morning. You know? One for me, one for you, one for me. But yeah, that was kind of the start of it. And then I moved to Dublin when I was 6 years old.
Okay.
I actually moved to Waterford, and we grew up on a farm. And then
but then removed, no longer working for any hotel or any of that stuff.
No, but I actually when we moved back to Dublin, I would spend my summers in Newcastle, and I would work at my dad's pub, just like glass collecting and things like that, and just trying to get like an extra £5 off my dad a week. Do you know what I mean? Working for literally £1 an hour.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that, and then when I used to enjoy school, but I didn't really. I went to school just for my friends, and I used to be. I know it doesn't look like it, but I was quite good at sports.
Yeah, it was rugby, right?
Yeah, I was good at rugby.
There's some pictures of him.
Yeah. He brings them up all the time. He's like, I used to play rugby really good.
But anyway, so as soon as school was over, I was like, I'm out of here, and I moved to London like on my 18th birthday, and I was living on my brother's couch. And his roommate was a guy called Tom Lovett. And Tom Lovett was like, just opened a bar up the road, and he was like, I need a bar back. He was like, you're pretty heavy set, you could carry a keg.
Yeah.
I was like, I can do that, give me a job. And I started, and 2 weeks in, I started bartending. And it was crazy. My first ever, I don't know if you've heard of Notting Hill Carnival.
It's roughly, yeah. Sounds
but Carnival, big. Crazy. It's like 2 million people go to...
More.
2.5 million people go to like Notting Hill, and it's just like this gigantic street party. I've never seen anything like it. And that was my first ever bar shift. Was Notting Hill Carnival. 18 years and 2 weeks old, and it was the biggest shit show, but it was a good learning point. And then
so at this point, was your brother, he was a chef then, proper in London?
Yeah, he was a head chef in a place called the Clarendon, which isn't open anymore.
Okay.
But it was really good
stuff.
And so that's bound to help you get at least like introduced to hospitality folks and stuff, right?
Oh, absolutely. Well, it was lucky. The guy Tom Lovett, who took me in, had worked in like loads of bars in London, so he kind of got me in. He got me in with a guy called Ricky Broderick, and that's when I started talking to people in like Match Group, and I started. I knew some people around London, but that's when I left. I went back to Dublin. I worked in a restaurant called Il Segreto. And the chef there had a Michelin star at another restaurant called Chapter One.
Oh, wow.
So I learned some shit there, and then I was like, I left Dublin for a reason. I didn't want to be there, so I was like, I'm going to go to Vancouver. And then I was
Vancouver?
I lived in Vancouver for about 6 months a year, in between that time.
What took you, I mean, I love Vancouver, it's a beautiful place.
It's my favourite place.
Yeah, coastal, people are cool. So what took you there the first time?
Just my friends were moving there, so I was like, I kind of want to go too.
That's crazy.
So I had some money because I wasn't like doing anything. I moved over and then I started working in this restaurant, and their manager got sacked after like a day. And because I'd had a bit of bar experience, they were like, yeah, go for it. And yeah, they made me a bar manager at age 19. Jeez. I had no idea what I was doing.
Can you drink at 19?
Yeah, you can. Okay. So it was really odd. But then I lived in Chicago for a bit, and then
what took you to Chicago?
I got a soccer scholarship to Iowa State University. Real weird. Yeah.
So how long? All right, because I'm trying to put this together. Right, so 6 months in Vancouver, 6 months off. You go back to Dublin. Where were you enrolled or even eligible to get a scholarship for soccer?
I did this thing called. I was good at football as well when I was younger.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Have you seen any of this, Nick? Is this just all?
I can imagine he's good at rugby. I've never seen him play football.
Whatever. But I did this trial because I was like, "Fuck!" I was at the stage where I was like really enjoying working in restaurants and bars and stuff. But I was like, my dad is real negative, even though like he owned pubs and stuff. He's like, you need to become an accountant. You need to become an accountant, right? So I was like, oh man, fuck this. Like, I better go back to university. And I looked into ways of what ways I can do it for free or whatever. And I did this football trial in Wolverhampton, and it was really weird. It was on TV and stuff, and like loads of coaches from America came in. And one guy took me up after the game, and he was like, "Yeah, I'd like to take you in at Iowa State." So I was like, "Yeah, cool, let's do it." Iowa? Yeah, where's Iowa? And like I looked on a map, and it was real like close to Chicago. And I was like, my friends are going to be in Chicago this summer. I go with my friends in the summer, and then I'll just go straight to Iowa. I think I got to Iowa, and like about an hour, I was like, I'm not going to do this.
So you were hanging in Chicago in the summer, waiting to start in the fall. Were you working in the summer at all? Or just hanging out?
Yeah, I worked in an Irish pub for a couple, like 2 days a week, because like I had no cash going over there. We were just fucking partying. So
this is great, but it's like it's almost like you sign a lease on a house, right? But you actually never seen the house, and you kind of arrive and you look at the front and you're like, oh fuck, what have I done?
It was. That was exactly it. And then I was like, fuck this, I'm going back to London. I loved London. So I went back, and I got some good jobs, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. Like,
dude, how fast did you buy the ticket to London by the time you left Iowa?
Oh, I spent another 2 weeks in Chicago. I had my return, because I didn't have my student visa yet. Yeah. I had to buy a return flight, so I still had a return flight, which was lucky enough, because I had no money. And then I flew back, and then I literally moved to London with 50 euros in my pocket. Yeah, and I slept on my brother's couch for like 2 weeks, and then after like a month, after a week, I had a good job.
Yeah,
but it was like a real eye-opening thing. Like, I thought it was hot shit because like I worked in this bar in London like when I was 18, and I was doing pretty well, but they had a really short cocktail list, and there was lots of beers and lots of coffee as well. And I loved making coffee. And then when I moved back to Ireland, I was working in this like really like basically a Michelin star restaurant, like the chef, and we were busy all the time. And I learned a bit about wine, and I would make loads of espresso martinis or like amaretto sours or whatever. And I thought it was fucking so good because I was literally 18, 19.
What's up?
And
this Arona cake?
I got to London, and they were like, it was my first interview, and they were like, what's in a blue blazer? And I was like, what the fuck is blue blazer? And I was like, they were like, okay, White Lady, Clover Club, aviation. Just started like rattling me with all this gin knowledge, and I was like, what's going on here? But anyway, I fucking somehow got a job somewhere, and kind of transformed, and I worked in some really good bars. And
what year are we talking when you kind of hit your stride in London when you got back?
I was 21, so I was just turned 21. So I had my 21st birthday back in Ireland, spent all the money I'd saved up on that, and then moved over 50 quid, and 21.
Must have been like, if I was 2014 at Trailer.
About 2012.
Yeah. Okay, so a couple years. The States in 2012 were finally starting to get cocktail culture. Obviously, Milk and Honey and PDT and stuff in New York, right? Like kind of setting this standard. We kind of started getting it here in Austin. cocktails, there's fresh ingredients and stuff.
Yeah.
What was it like in London, like in 2012? Anybody?
So far ahead of the time. I hadn't got.
Get out of it, man.
We were using hand chipped ice in like fresh, like gin and tonics. We had a gin and tonic. Like, so when I first really like got back into it, like I started working at a bar called Graphic, which had the largest gin selection pretty much in the world. I have like 460 gins.
Jesus.
We were doing like Monkey 47 gin and tonics with dry cranberries and fucking...
I remember the first time I walked into Graphic.
Yeah.
I was going to meet a friend of ours who potentially I was going to go work at Graphic.
Yeah.
But before I moved to Australia, but then I just chose not to move to London and move to Australia. And I remember Terence, and I never met him. I remember him slinging drinks. I remember him being busy, him slinging drinks. I never met the geese. I never would have guessed that we'd be partners like later down the line. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's crazy. I mean, dude, that's the thing. It's like fortuitous and all. Yeah. You know, you end up in a city and you're like, oh, this guy here crosses. Everybody's from somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. It was fucking. It was wild. Like Graphic. They used to do £55,000 a week.
Jesus.
In but 95% cocktails. And like a cocktail is £8-9.
Yeah. And it's small.
And
it was small.
It's tiny. You got 100 people. And like we were the busiest, like we were making our own, like it was like 2012. So we were making our own sherbets, cordials, like infusions back then. It was the first time I'd ever used like a mini still because we were distilling our own shit. And it was completely eye-opening. Our garnish trays were fucking huge. Yeah. Like setting up that bar, I'll like whenever anyone talks to me about setting up a bar, I was like, you didn't set up the bar in Graphic on a Friday, Saturday for fucking a year and a half. I was like, we used to go through 9 bottles of lemon juice, 9 bottles of lime juice, like fucking 2 big boxes of mint. Like if you meet me now setting up a bar, I will not pick the mint. Like I will just not do it because doing that trailer, other bars I've worked in, it's like I ain't picking this mint anymore. Fuck that. And
that's legit.
But
Friday,
like,
Saturday we were out mint. So I was like, "Where's the mint?" I'm like, "Oh, you didn't pick it, you know?" Oh, okay. No wonder.
But like I remember sometimes like because Graphic was in Soho, it was in like 4 Christmas parties.
Oh Jesus!
Oh my God! Christmas would start in October, and it would finish. Well. It would finish the end of December. And I remember I got home and I slept for pretty much 4 days straight because it was just so busy. Like you're like whenever you make a drink, you're not using more than 3 bottles in each hand.
Right.
Like it's 3-4 bottle pours every time. And it's just busy, you know, and it's wild. And you are literally getting paid £7 an hour.
Less, mate. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It does, so something like that. Good.
And this is like, I like to stress.
Yeah.
We're talking about Soho and Central London. Soho and Central London's like one of the busiest areas.
Yeah.
Like,
in the world.
Busy. Like we always said, if we could open a bar in Soho, all you have to do is open the doors and you're ready to make money because it's just busy.
Yeah.
It's a busy place. You know what I mean?
Did you felt so given that this took so much out of you and it's so much physical labor, it's mentally laborious too?
Absolutely. I was waking up in the middle of the night with nightmares in service, being like, oh my God.
Right? Gin and tonic.
Fuck.
Gin and tonic martini dry.
Yeah, because like when you're working in these like, they're high level cocktail bars, but they're such high pace. You have to be taking 3, 4, 5 orders at a time. And like some orders might have like 6 drinks, you know? So at one point you're always making like 20 to 30 different drinks. So it's pretty wild.
Does that make you fall in love with it more or fall in love with it less?
I was 21, so I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm so into this now. I actually told my parents like, I'm out of college. I'm doing this bartender thing full time, so
I should have known better anyway, right?
Well, my dad was not happy because I applied for university back in London when I got there.
Did you get in?
Yeah, I got in, but I was just like fucked it off real quick.
So you got into 2 universities, 1 on a scholarship.
Yeah.
If this doesn't demonstrate that fucking university's not for you, I don't know what does.
Oh man, I actually also did a year while I was working in that restaurant in Dublin, and I dropped out after a year too. Man. So I tried it 3 times, but I realized
4th time lucky, right?
Yeah, I'm going to culinary school. So
culinary school. Now that would be something you.
When you start culinary school?
I'm joking.
Okay.
No. But that is something I'm going to do.
Joke / not a joke.
Yeah. I'm doing it. I'm going to learn how to like make like mad pastries and stuff.
Nice. I think that makes sense given some of your experience. So everything boils together, and you now have what I think is the petri dish that where the ideas for Here Nor There kind of come from. But this is Trailer Happiness. This is kind of where everybody met, right?
Oh yeah. So we started working in different bars and stuff in London. I moved around a couple of times, and then I got rehired at Trailer. Rehired. Sorry, I got hired at Trailer, and then then Nick came on board. Then we met Simon, and we had such a good team at the time.
It was a busy bar, like
it was crazy.
Can you tell me what kind of bar it is?
Like, I don't know what's the seated? How many?
100.
We used to ram people into seats.
Yeah.
One of our big slogans.
We used to be like your tables to conjugate around.
Yeah, it's more of like congregational area.
So we used to give like tables of like 6.
Yeah, it was just more like their table would just be covered in because they'd be just rammed.
One thing about Trailer, the music is so good.
So tell me why.
The DJs, man. They play vinyl. Yeah.
What's Geezer's name?
Ollie.
No, the other Geezer. Adam was good.
So all vinyl DJs.
Yeah.
Oh, this is brilliant.
Yeah, and it's just Friday, Saturday's a party. So like, if you like, it's crazy.
What party? We used to make.
I've never seen a bar with a vibe like it. Like, still to this day.
Is it kind of dark too? Or pretty?
It's basement. Like it's basement. Had no tan for about all the time he was there.
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Well, because all you got to do, Nick, is walk outside and you tan, right?
Yeah. I swallow up the sun, mate. Yeah, olive skin.
I'm the opposite.
Yeah. I mean, we just didn't go outside though. We were working fucking.
Yeah.
Mate,
that's when
hours a week.
I think that's when I first learned how to like
work.
Yeah. I was given like 80, 90, 100 hours some weeks just because I wanted the bar to work. And like we were because I don't know, Trailer was run by like amazing bartenders for years, but none of them had like a finance mind.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but Trailer was losing quite a lot of money. And then kind of we went on board and it went in the green for the first time in about 11 years.
So when you talk about on board, did you guys have some equity in the project?
No. We were the managers.
We felt like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
but I mean,
like, one thing... Sweat equity, I would have been a millionaire.
Yeah. I don't know, like, I've always, even before I was sort of in the industry and we're talking about drinks and blah, 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 like, you sort of take ownership for everything you're around, right? And I'm sort of like I take ownership of situations.
Yeah.
I take responsibility, and as does Terence as well. I was just thinking,
you guys are free to
have more rum?
Yeah, of course.
It's very nice.
It's really, I mean, it's one of those things.
Austin Shaker, big up.
Yeah, again, dude, really.
Like, you know, I think I probably learned that from my old man and a couple of different things, and like you do have to take someone has to take lead, and you have to take ownership of circumstance, and that's what we did. Like, yeah, all right. We didn't own the place, but we ran it, and it was ours, mate. We were like, you know, no one could. We couldn't answer to anyone because we were the people that were there every single day for hours and hours.
No one knows better.
We slept there. Me and Terence slept there.
Oh no shit!
A lot.
Once or twice, if it was too late, it was just like, man, we have to be in here at like 10 o'clock in the morning to cut ice. One crazy thing about it, Trailer won like best high volume cocktail bar in the world at Tales of Cocktail.
When was that? Ago. I didn't know that.
2016.
Yeah, and this is so you must have still been there, right?
No. It was literally just after us.
Wow.
Our drinks were still on the menu and stuff, but
we got nominated. And the year that we were, the first year Trailer ever got nominated was the year that we were there.
Oh man,
yeah. So we took it to the top 4, and then a year later they won. But it was crazy. So like we did volume, it was busy.
Yeah, it was busy.
We had hand chipped ice for every single drink.
Hand chipped ice, mate.
Dude, really?
Yeah.
Pina coladas, mate.
Oh my god.
Our pina colada was served.
Our Trailer colada was the most ridiculous thing.
You'd see, and you're on film. So he's on film making the trailer.
Yeah, and he forgets an ingredient.
Yeah. Oh, Terence give me so much shit about that. But do you know what? I was dropped in on
smoked salt.
Yeah, I was dropped in on that. I was like, they're like, someone's come down to meet you. Just want to have a chat.
So you sorry, go ahead.
I get down there and the geezer's got his camera out. Like, so whenever you're ready, start filming. I was like, I'm sorry, what's Yeah, what was it you wanted me to make? Yeah. We loved it. Do you know what I mean?
So correct me now. So we was missing the smoked skull, but what goes into this drink?
The trailer colada is fucking delicious. So basically, it was served on a rocks glass with a piece of coconut incense in. But on top of the coconut incense, you actually had like a coconut, which
Shell,
a coconut shell. Yeah. So trailer, like, it's not like here nor there now where we actually have budgets for like glassware and things like that. It's like with trailer, it was like you get a glass for as cheap as you can get it.
Yeah,
he's like, we need to make like this drink needs to be cheap. Sure. You need to hit a GP of a certain percentage.
Yeah.
So like we found these coconuts for like 18 pence a coconut.
Oh, nice.
In Sainsbury's. And so
we
used to go around. We got an electric, not even electric, it was a handheld saw. We saw the top offs, and then the whole team would stand in the kitchen hollowing out.
Pouring them out.
Yeah.
Man.
And it was a team bonding thing.
Mate, it's quality. Do you know what? And this is one thing I will say before you carry on. At this stage in our lives, though we worked a lot, though it was hard, we fucking loved it.
Yeah. We
actually fucking loved it. Do you know what I mean?
So this being probably 4 years ago now? No, sorry, 3 years.
Oh no,
like
4.
4.
Oh yeah, 3.5.
You like mentally? Do you think you could be doing that same stuff now? Like if you had to go back?
Do you know? Listen. I'm competitive, so I could say that I could do it again and again.
Yeah.
Would I want to? Different question.
Yeah.
See, my mind is on other things. So like,
we got smarter.
We learned our lessons. I feel.
Well, I think that's good. I mean, it's good to know. You know, you play in a hardcore band for a while, and then you move on. You play in a metal band.
Yeah.
It just
Absolutely
different genre. I mean, that's how it's been for me. But
and it's just like different businesses and different demands and different styles. And I think like transferable skills are so important. And that's why like when I watch Terence bartend, I'm watching bartend in different places because we worked together and we worked apart at different stages in the last 5 years, and it's like that's where you learn. Like you really become versatile. You know what I mean?
So you know, before we talk about, because there's a couple other gentlemen in the mix too. Simon's here in town as well, and maybe we'll talk about James or not, however you guys feel comfortable with that. But yeah, so how about the balance with personal life? Because it sounds like you guys have devoted so much of your time to hanging out as a team and to being part of this massively successful bar wherever you guys have been. I mean, can you even have loving relationships?
Yeah, you can, but like girlfriends hate you. I've never really. I don't know. I'd say my personal life has definitely took a bit of a hit due to just the fact I want to work so much. But it's not I want to work so much, it's my life, and I wanna create something special. I don't wanna just, it's not just about here nor there. There's obviously a future beyond this.
Of course.
Yeah.
Which we see and which other people see, so
you always see it's like paying, you're investing in yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I invest in myself a lot.
Definitely.
But yeah, like I've had one relationship I'd say that kind of worked, but that's because we worked together. She was great.
But otherwise, it's pretty hard.
Like I think it's hard. Like it depends what sort of personal relationship you work with. Like me and Terence, we worked together, and then on the first day we became best mates. You know what I mean? Now I call him my little brother.
Even though I'm older,
he's older,
smarter, and wiser.
Not smarter.
Not even taller, are you? Wait, maybe.
Nah, he's actually not. I win. But yeah, like I don't know, that sort of like life balance, personal thing isn't something necessarily we've mastered. But at the same time, we love what we do every day. Do you know what I mean? And there's so many different elements of what we do, which is quality.
Yeah,
you know.
So then we were lucky here. I remember reading the kind of the press release about Here Nor There coming to town and stuff, and we're all a little bit skeptical at first. Austin is a certain kind of place, right?
Yeah.
I've been here about 20 years or so, and it's like I've seen it change. It's all been great, very creative. So how did the foundation and this thought and this concept kind of come to mind?
So actually, it was like about 3.5 years ago. So I was working. I was actually like spreading myself between a few bars. Mm-hmm. So I was working in a bar called El Camion, which is where like Dick Bradshaw worked.
Okay,
guy who invented the espresso martini and things like that. He opened that. So I was just doing a couple of shifts there. I did 1 or 2 shifts in Milk, and then I did a couple of shifts in Burlock, and which is a rum bar, and then I was just like doing some shifts with Nick in a bar called Fontaine's, in Stoke Newington, which is a beautiful classics bar.
Yeah.
And pretty much I got a phone call off James, and he was like, "Listen, I've got a guy over here who wants to open a bar, and we're seeing some of the stuff you've done. Would you like to come over?"
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember when you got a phone call.
Was this he was at Trailer too? James was, or was
so James actually part owned Trailer.
He was one of
I see.
So he brought us to Trailer. So he knew Nick.
I've known James since I was like 16.
Oh,
no kidding.
And I've worked with James for like 4 years. We'd done 2 projects together before that, and they were both quite successful.
Yeah.
And anyway, they were like, "Listen, I've got this guy. He's really interested in opening a bar with you." And James was the middleman. He was just like putting it together. And I actually was about to move to Australia.
Okay.
So a guy who me and Nick used to work for, we used to run his bars. His best friend is a guy called I think his name, I can't remember his name. I think it's Theo, but he owns some really sick bars.
Mm-hmm.
He owns like Baxter's Inn, Shady Pines,
and Shady Pines.
Mm.
I went there like 5 years ago, and I've never been to Australia since. But one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. One of my favourite bars in the world.
And Baxter's Inn is a bar I've always wanted to work for. And like now I had an inn.
Yeah.
And they just opened a restaurant called Hubert's as well. And like I could have done some shifts there too, apparently. But I was even getting like my visa ready and stuff. Like I was applying for it, and yeah, so I was like, fuck. And James like, he's gonna fly you out in a week, and I was like, cool. So it's kind of weird because I was like, I was applying for jobs I wanted, and I wasn't getting them because like, I don't know. I'm a bit of I'm not really like, I don't socialize much. I don't really like, I hang out with Nick and that's
like
about it.
Networking wise, you mean?
Networking wise, I'm like the worst networker in the world.
Nick's quite good. He's been insistent that we do this chat there.
Yes.
Oh really? Okay. Fair enough.
I wanted to already, but it's like this guy should be doing, if he's not already, PR for everything that you're involved with.
Me and Teo are like
I'm like
a great partnership.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he's like the talker, he makes friends with people, and I like don't talk to anyone.
Yeah.
I'm real bad at it. Like our friend Tiernan actually said, he's like, "You're the worst networker in the world." I'm like, I don't care.
But that's because he just likes doing what he's doing. You know?
No, man, that's the Japanese mindset.
Yeah.
You just do the work in the best possible way that you can.
Do you know what? I'm gonna use that.
Yeah, right. I dig that. Yeah, I'm writing that down.
Oh yeah, for PR messaging, it's just perfect.
Japanese mindset.
So anyway, it was crazy because I was applying to these jobs and I was getting really frustrated with London because it was like, it wasn't about how good you were and what you knew. It was about who you knew. Who you knew.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember this guy got this job over me and I was fucking livid.
I remember the job.
Yeah, because I was I'm not going to say I was so much better than him, but like, honestly.
You were a lot better.
I think I was personally.
Sure.
But it was just because he knew the manager or whatever. It is what it is. I don't care anymore. Sure? Yeah, a little bit. a little bit salty. But
it's hard though, mate. It's hard, like, you know, when you work towards something and like it doesn't come together. And like, I remember exactly where you were, and I was in a different place.
I also was meant to start a really good job, and I was so chuffed with it. It was with this hotel, and it was taking a role I really wanted.
Yeah.
It was like I was looking after 2 bars, and one was like a mad volume bar, and the other at the back was like this beautiful like mahogany room where they just make punches and things like that. I was meant to start on the Monday or on the Tuesday, and on the Monday they told me I wasn't working there. I wasn't starting that. It was like a real weird thing. I swear to God, I woke up because I worked with Nick on the Sunday, and I'd never woken. I woke up fully clothed.
Yeah,
I was so hungover.
Yeah,
right.
Well, so drunk.
And then I was like, Nick, I opened my email from this thing being like, oh, so actually, unfortunately, you're not starting work. I'm like, what the fuck?
And it was,
I've done 7 interviews.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was crazy.
7 interviews. That's a long time, man.
Oh yeah, dude.
So I was anyway, whatever. I was over London, so I was like, fuck it, I'm moving to Australia. I'm gonna just work in some really good bars over there. I've gone in. I don't have to do this interview bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't have to try and network with people. And then so I flew over and I had the most amazing 5 days ever in Austin. And I came back and I met Manish. So Manish is our main guy. So he's our investor and he's the biggest legend in the world.
The best
and
guy ever.
Literally.
Where's he from?
He's from Austin.
Oh, no shit, okay.
He's a
legend.
He's incredibly smart. He's fucking cool.
And incredibly kind.
Nice guy ever. And so he kind of was just like, yeah, I'll give you this and I'll give you that. And he literally said, like, the world's your oyster if you come. So I couldn't turn it down, you know, and it would give me, like, complete creative freedom to do whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
And I was telling Nick, I was like, man, Austin's so good. Like,
and that was the start, though. It was like a long process to get there.
Yeah, it was.
I remember
so that was 3 years ago.
I remember
3.5 years ago.
I remember when you came into my where I was living at the time, and you told me you just got off the phone with James, and we were talking about that, and you just accepted it, and we were just like, I feel personally, me, maybe you as well, that I was completely blind to how far away that was.
Yeah,
and
I thought like we'd
be there next week.
Couple of weeks.
Yeah, and shit was about to get legit.
Oh man,
it didn't work like that, and that was like the start of it. And there was a lot of time between then and now, sort of thing.
Because you came, so Nick, you came later. I know, the initial crew was James, yourself, Terrence, and Simon. Since there's been a little bit of shifting, James left. Was that hopefully that was a positive thing, or was it a little acrimonious?
Well, the thing was, like, with James was meant to be doing this whole, like, he wanted to open like loads of cafes and juice bars and things like that, and that was cool. But so we opened one. It's called the Squeezery. We're still there. We still run it. It's still doing real well. Like, and we had one in the Hamptons too. So
cool.
we both did that. And it was cool because we did this whole like no sugar, no processed shit cocktail. So it was called like health conscious cocktails. And I had actually done a pop up in London. Myself and a guy called Dan Thompson. We did it, and we got mad, like loads of crazy write ups. GQ writ us up with in the same article with Dandelion and Duck and Waffle. Which was mad because I'm like, man, what is going on here?
It's so bizarre as well.
Yeah, it was like we were knocking out drinks like pina coladas and things like that. They were delicious, and it was like everything in it was like an almond butter rum and things like that. Sure. It was cool. But yeah, it was also far away. Also, the reason why the project took so long, it was our visas took a little bit of time because we have a special talent visa, so we went through a different kind of
total different process.
And
it was successfully arduous.
Yeah, there you go. It's a good way to put it.
But we actually, like, Here Nor There was actually dug out. Like, there was nothing there beforehand.
Yeah,
it was solid rock. Which is pretty.
That's crazy, man. It's like building like an interstate, you know?
Yeah. So they hit hard rock 3 times. So I was meant to be. The bar was actually meant to open date was June 16th, 2017.
Oh shit!
But I actually opened.
Full year almost, right?
Yeah, June 16th, 2018.
Jeez.
So which is pretty wild.
Yeah.
But it gave us loads of time to get like. To kind of focus on the ideas and what we wanted to do, and it gave me 9 months to create the first menu. So it was kind of nice. Gave me a little bit of time. I kind of procrastinated a bit too much.
A little bit of chilling.
So how long then, Nick? Because you've been, because I met you like the second week you were here in town.
Yeah. It was what a lovely meeting as well.
Yeah.
Quality. I sort of came a little bit later into the project. I was invested anyway. Like whatever my team previous, like we've always been a team, no matter where we've worked previously. I was actually waiting on a result from a drama school in London.
Oh, no kidding. Would you have stuck around if you?
I don't know. This was a pretty good. It was RADA, which is the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts.
I've heard of that.
It was a pretty infamous school. So if they gave it to me then, I was on the reserve list, so I needed one person to drop out.
Yeah.
Before, and then I would accept it, but I don't know if I would have accepted it.
Dude,
I don't know, man. I just like opportunity, and I love like good vibes and good shit, and like that doesn't mean we're not going to touch on that later. So that's
it doesn't mean that the door's closed, right?
Not at all. It was like an opportunity for me to see that I could do it. Do you know what I mean? So, and then I came out to help the boys, and I was sort of just chilling in the Hamptons for a bit.
Yeah,
with the original Juice concept. Just helping out the boys, keeping the morale high to some extent.
That was tough.
Yeah,
the Hamptons was like the most testing 3 months of my life.
Because the people or the schedule, or
well, we literally, it was so busy, man.
Yeah,
we literally,
man, we just opened doors.
Yeah, we literally built it so we went up, and it
Terrence
was
built it. I didn't.
Yeah, it was like it was nothing.
Yeah,
you know, it was literally like this shit Mexican restaurant. I hadn't cleaned for like 20 years. So we went in, and me, a guy called Tiernan, James, and this other guy, we just like literally tore it down and built a beautiful, beautiful place. And that was very testing, because we were doing like 17, 18-hour days, and we had a real time restriction. We had to open that up in 3.5 weeks.
Oh, dude.
So we did it, and then...
and we lived together.
Yeah, and we lived together. So we opened it up. We started with breakfast and lunch, and then we did the juice smoothies, and our coffee was amazing. And then we finally got our liquor license in. We opened up at night, and we started doing booze, and it went... That summer was very, very...
Very
successful.
testing.
Very testing, but very successful.
It was quality.
Did it drive you guys apart or closer together? Or a bit of both? Being so close proximity all the time.
I think
it brought me and Nick very together.
Yeah.
But
and also, I mean, it was like, I feel like didn't drive apart or bring together.
It did both.
It did both, but it was sort of like a very steep learning curve for our lives. Yeah, and like that was like a really
interesting,
tremendous year.
It made me realize you need to have balance.
Yeah. You can't just like keep going like you do. Like we worked like animals endlessly and tirelessly, and we digged it. You know what I mean? And I dig it still now.
It was kind of a competition who could work harder.
Yeah,
oh, really?
I always won, by the way.
I mean, that's like race to the bottom, though, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
it was the dumbest competition I've ever been a part of.
But you know, if you want to go get and tell any day. No, we just mucked about.
And he's a life coach too, PR and life coach. Nick's got it all.
We just muck around, really. Like honestly, it's like people say, "Oh, what are you doing?" or this and that. Like you've achieved a lot, or this and that, or what's going on? How was that? And honestly, it's just different stages of our lives where we mucked around, and had a good time and had a bad time, and we worked through it. You know what I mean? But it was like a big learning curve, in the last however long, with a visa, with a business, it's just been like a mad growth period, and you know. We're in a good place.
Yeah, the bar's doing great.
I mean, it is, man. Yeah. Every time I go in there, it's always beautifully packed. You know what I mean? It's never uncomfortable. Yeah. Sometimes I think we talk about maybe some of the other bars you've been a part of. It's just like, I mean, it might be a pain in the ass to even get a drink, but you wait it out, you know? But you always can get something. You can always... Yeah. I mean, drinks are fucking brilliant, too. You know?
Thank you.
But you guys are feeling very happy about how... the community is adapted.
Yeah, quality. Like, there's loads of people here.
Like, I'll be honest, and like, I had a feeling like people wanted to dislike us when we first moved in. There was definitely like
it's like apprehension.
Yeah, I had to be careful what I said around a lot of people.
Yeah,
still do. So whatever. But it like when people who said like, I've had a couple of people going like, I really didn't want to like this bar, but it's now my favorite bar. Yeah. I love that so much. It's like, because we're not pretentious at all.
Yeah,
like
no.
we're not
trying to be ourselves.
We're not trying to be dickheads. Like we don't care much for mustaches and bow ties. Like,
there's nothing wrong with mustaches and bow ties.
Yeah, there's actually not.
Greatest PR guy in the biz.
Yeah, he's But like, honestly, yeah.
No, it's like, mate, I came a little bit later. My visa took a little bit longer. I had a few other things going on, and I've actually been lucky. And me and Tel have laughed about it previously. I sort of like hit the ground running and come when there's like everything sort of starting to work. But no, extremely welcomed. Yeah, it's quality, mate.
When we first opened, it was kind of like just me, so it was very testing, you know.
I can see you know, one of the things that I appreciate about you is when you at least you have this sense of focus. I'm gonna say zen-like focus when you're working on this stuff, because there's like this particular kind of zone that you're in, and I don't think it's unwavering, because people could always be really testing of your patience, you know. It's like, hey, this or this or this, but for some reason you always remember so centered and calm and collected, and that's something I've noticed about you as a bartender, you know. I would almost, you've got a sense of humor, but that's not what matters. What matters is getting the fucking job done. You know, and you can see that, and just your resolve in making cocktails.
Thank you.
It's something. Now, I haven't seen Nick bartend yet, so now this is a drive.
Mate, as you can tell, Nick's more of a talker. So when you're getting a drink from him, you're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh.
Yeah, the drinks. I I like to see myself.
Nick's got a good palate.
I'm an all-rounder. I'm an
yeah.
all-rounder.
Yeah.
I always try to position myself in any business that I've ever been in, or anything that I've partnered, or any situation. I just try to be all round, mate.
Yeah.
There's always a position for that, and Tel's very specific with the drinks and what he wants, and that's quality. And the rest is just allows us to do what we want and what we feel.
Because you have to have all of it, right? You can't just have that.
Do you know what I've recently found is so many people are we're getting so many newcomers.
Yeah.
We have so many regulars, but we have so many newcomers. They're like, what's the idea behind this?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, it's just
we have this crazy guy called Manish who brought us over.
Yeah.
He wants to open a really good bar.
And it sounds ridiculous.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
sure.
Yeah.
Personally, in my life, this situation doesn't seem ridiculous to me because I've done so many ridiculous things, and I feel Terence has as well. And,
yeah.
You know, James previously and Simon, and mad stories. And I've only surrounded myself, fortunately, with really good people.
Yeah.
So what we do is, some people just think it's just another world, and it's just it's pretty normal to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which we're really lucky for. You know.
I think to affirm yourself as a bar that is at the leading edge in Austin, from guys that aren't from Austin, from a bar that never existed in Austin, physically never existed.
Yeah.
I mean, to put yourself on the map so quickly, obviously that's a true testament to the personalities and the skill. It's got to be both, though. Even if every single drink was 100% amazing, even if you guys weren't who you were, it wouldn't really much matter. You know what I mean? So it's kind of that blend of stuff. And so you guys have amazingly done that.
We appreciate that very much.
I
think the one thing as well, and as we grow, and other opportunities come with us, and what we do is we're just down here doing us. We're not trying to piss anyone off, and we're sustainable. We do things in the right way, and we want to achieve that. And people that want to come to our venue and want to get a taste for that, or help us educate them and them educate us, there's room for that. That's what we're here to do. You know what I mean? We're not here to come from other places and take over. We're doing us.
Yeah.
Chill.
I think it's great. So you said it took 9 months to get the first menu on the books, if you will. What about menu 2? You guys there yet?
It's on the way.
Okay.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Imagine seasonal stuff.
Yeah. So we're doing obviously, my background is my family are mad into cooking and shit like that. So I'm taking a different approach to this one. So it's actually, I'll tell you, it's about minimalism and fermentation.
Oh, cool.
So I shouldn't really have told you, but whatever.
It's a hell of a teaser. And we can put this out whenever. I'll coordinate with Nick.
No, that's cool.
That's mysterious. There's a lot of questions there anyway.
So basically, my favourite bar in the world is a bar called Three Sheets in London. Okay. And I actually learned more going there as a customer than some bars I've worked in. Yeah. And my brother is crazy into pickling and making his own vinegars and things like that. And, I've been touching on it, and I know I look at cooking and I'm what, they use so many different types of fats, they use different types of acids, right? They different types of salts. Why don't we use it in bars? Why don't we use butter in every drink? Why don't we use olive oil? Not even olive oil because I'm not using it, but
I love olive oil, by the way. I'm Greek.
So,
Greek olive oil.
Yeah.
But I know it's crazy. We've done it. We did a talk a couple of weeks ago for Bullet Bourbon about bartending beyond the bar. Yeah. And it was just don't one of our menu now is we don't do things normally. First of all, we use the metric system, just the fact where we're from. So, but one of the things I found about drinks in not every bar, but some bars I go to in America, it's every drink's got an ounce of citrus. Yeah. I don't know that
I know what you mean, but I don't know how to convert it to metric.
Yeah. But
it's centiliters or milliliters, right?
Yeah. So it's just it's the same. So it's doing things completely differently. So I don't know. So with with our menu now, it's we do things quite differently. We use a lot of cooking techniques and a lot of different different ways of extracting flavors and things like that. And with this new menu, it's gonna be like
very culinary forward.
Very culinary forward, yeah.
I mean, I'm excited to see how that kind of pairs because I think about mayonnaise or aiolis all the time as a wonderful cocktail ingredient. I'm serious because the fats, because sometimes the fats are imperceivable to the brain. You just feel it as a texture. And what that can do for certain spirits like cognac, which isn't necessarily very fatty, or even some rums, right? So I get this. It makes a hell of a lot of sense.
So we actually did a Hennessy, kind of like a Hennessy menu last night for the Chinese New Year.
Oh, nice.
And one of my favorite drinks on the menu was called, I can't remember what it was called, but it was just like...
Yesterday.
We washed the Hennessy in butter.
Yeah.
So we just cooked some butter, let it settle, and then we took the fats out of it. And then we did like a champagne cordial, and we clarified some lemon juice, and we just we put it in like a Collins with just some citric acid and some soda water.
Oh man,
it was super tasty.
Sounds
it was
so
like
good.
So lovely.
It was kind of like bready. It was just lovely.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like a different way of.
And I think that's what
drinks.
you have to do, and what you were doing already kind of puts you at the helm of at least cocktail innovation in Austin. So that's already working. So to push even further. What I think it will do is it'll encourage other people.
Yeah. Well, that's what we want to do anyway.
Yeah.
Like we want to. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Because that's what I want to do.
I think you've succeeded so far. So I've got one last question for you guys. As we talked about the past, the present, and the future to some extent with the new menu. So you can sip this rum, right? And again, amazing plantation rum. It's anywhere in the world, and I asked this question kind of separately for you guys. But Terrence, you could have this rum and have a conversation and a sip with anybody, living or deceased, who might you like to just sit there and wax poetic with?
Ooh, that's a really tough question.
Who was talk with? Shit, fucking hell. Probably a rum drinker, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Well, fucking.
Fuck, this is really difficult.
Yeah,
so with Nick,
it's all you, bud. Yeah, actually.
Yeah, well, Nick's gonna get the same
mate.
question, so he gets prep time right now to think about it as you're.
Do you know what? This is gonna sound really weird, but I've been reading a lot about like fashion designers recently.
Yeah,
I've been reading about like Gianni Versace and then fucking Alexander McQueen.
Yeah,
I think I would love to have a drink with Alexander McQueen if he was alive. Yeah, real strange. But
no, I think that's interesting.
He was a very interesting dude, and
that's good. I think it's a great answer. Nick, what about you?
Mate, there's a lot of people I'd like to talk to.
Of course. Let me say, I would prefer it to be a classic actor.
Oh, classic actor.
Is that shifted?
I really love not classic dead, but classic old.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman. I fucking love
dude.
Gary Oldman.
Yeah, Gary Oldman.
He's a gangster. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, it's loads of people I'd like to share it.
Gary Oldman's brilliant, though.
Yeah,
I would love to sit down because
he's the best.
Seems super nice too.
Yeah, he seems super chill.
Yeah,
and, you know, that's the sort of vibe. Like, and I know there's a sort of like perception of how people are.
Yeah,
in front of a camera, behind a microphone, in front of the public eye. I think he's a legitimate guy.
Yeah.
I think he's a legitimate geezer, to be honest with you.
I think so. I think you're right.
I'd definitely drink a rum with him. Yeah, absolutely.
I think he would do it. I think he would quite enjoy it.
Yeah, maybe we will.
Yeah, I hope so. See, this I can't hold you to yours, Terrence, but I can hold Nick to his.
Yeah.
No problem.
There's holograph technology, though, surfacing, so we'll see if it becomes possible.
Anyway.
Well, gents, it's been brilliant sitting down and chatting and learning more about you individually, learning more about the bar. And, you know, you're going to keep killing it and being successful in town. You have quickly become very, very, very favorites of the community.
Thank you very much for having us.
So it's been great. We'll chat more later, yeah?
Lovely.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
So there we have it, Mr. Nick the Greek and Terrence Robson of Here Nor There in Austin. Story about their lives, how they met at Trailer Happiness in London, and how they moved to Austin, Texas to open the ambitious bar Here Nor There. Wonderful spot, wonderful cocktails. Stop in when you can, and we hope to hear more from them soon and see this new menu on the horizon dropping as well. So thanks everybody for listening to Show to V with Mike G. No matter how many times you think, do I even look good on camera? Or if you're thinking, man, where is the intersectionality and diversity in whiskey tasting shows on YouTube? Please keep dancing.